Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marco. I'm going to showcase the 2013 Chevy Volt, which has been out for a couple of years now. They've actually increased the range by 3 miles on the Chevy Volt. But the first thing I really want to talk about is the styling. You take a look at this vehicle. It doesn't look like some weird all-electric golf cart that you can take out on the freeway. They've used European styling to kind of provide an amazing look to the vehicle, while at the same time making sure that they've reduced wind drag in order to make this the most efficient vehicle that they possibly can. Among the other things that they've done, besides minimizing gaps on the body and sloping the vehicle, is with these 17-inch tires, what they've produced them to weigh less than your typical 17-inch tires, and they are extremely efficient. They are low resistant, which means anytime you're driving a vehicle, say a regular gas power vehicle, and you're fighting something, whether it's the road or the wind, you're consuming more fuel. By reducing that fighting, so to speak, making these less resistant, you are extending your range. So a lot of thought was put into here. The other things I wanted to show you about while we're looking from the outside, you'll notice these little silver buttons here. That means that you never have to pull your vehicle out, your key out, in order to unlock the car. You can open one door, you can open all 5, including the hatchback, or you can just come over to the other side to place something in the vehicle without unlocking the driver's side. It's not only a safety issue, because say you're coming out of the mall late at night and you've got all these bags and you don't want to be digging around looking for keys to get inside, but it's also something that just makes it that much more convenient to get in and out. More importantly, you can unlock this vehicle from a distance. You can also, this vehicle also starts up as like a computer would. You don't put in the key into the ignition and turn it on, you power it on. Now there's other keys that can do that with remote start. You can stand inside your house and hit a button and the vehicle turns itself on. But with the Volt and the available icons that you can put on your smartphone, you can do it, you can power it up when you're at the mall. You can power it up if you're all the way across the country. And what that allows you to do is heat the vehicle while it's corded up, and I'll explain a little bit of what that means, without having to use any of the battery power. So if it's a particularly cold morning like it is today, and you don't want to come into a freezing cold vehicle, but you don't want to have to start the vehicle, putting the key inside and powering it up, you just press the icon, have the vehicle turn itself on, and remember it's on electric power, so you're not having any emissions come out, and allow the vehicle to warm itself up, or if you're in the middle of summer, cool itself down. Now the way the Volt works, it has lithium-ion batteries, it also has a generator, and it also has a 1.4 liter 4-cylinder motor. This vehicle works either on all battery or works with the motor augmenting through the generator, the battery, when they've reached their minimal charge levels. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys with a lot of the technology. Or they work in conjunction. Not only that, but you have 4 different drive modes. You have the normal drive mode, which means when you first drive off, the vehicle is essentially using the batteries to power the generator, and you have no emissions whatsoever. Once the batteries, and that's about at 38 miles, once the batteries have reached their minimal charge level, then the regular gas motor kicks in, starts powering the vehicle through the generator, and you're back in what is essentially a car mode. That's the normal drive mode. Now you also have sport mode, which you can engage in there, and that means you're looking for something a little more responsive. You're reducing your range a little bit, but you get more zippiness. And one of the beautiful things about an electric vehicle is you have 100% torque available right from the get-go. There's no searching for that range as when you get in the car and you feel that kind of motion as it's building itself up to get to speed. In an all-electric vehicle, you get all that torque, about 273 foot-pounds of torque, right from the beginning. The other mode you can do is mountain mode. And what mountain mode means, if you're going through the passes, you want to save some energy there when you're going up. When you're going down, you don't need it. So you can switch to mountain mode, whether you say you lived up in the foothills over there by Enumclaw, or if you're just clearing the passes and you want to make sure, because again, you can take this vehicle out about 380 miles, you just want to make sure you have that extra available power as you're going along. And then finally, Chevy for this year, for 2013, has come up with hold mode. And what hold mode does, let's say you've got to commute to Seattle, and you're leaving here from beautiful Sumner, you're hopping on the freeway, you're going to drive 167, switch over to 405, and then get on I-5. If you're driving normally, you're using up a lot of battery power while you're on the freeway. And then once you get to Seattle, and let's say you're going to Lower Queen Anne, and you got to go through all that horrible traffic in Seattle, you're not getting a chance to do what this vehicle is designed for. So with hold mode, you're essentially telling the vehicle, hold that battery for me until I get where I'm going. And then once you get to Seattle and you're in stop and go traffic going up and down hills, you switch it back to normal mode. Now, why would you want to necessarily save the battery power? Because the other beautiful thing about this vehicle is it's designed to help regenerate a certain amount of battery and generator energy through the brakes, through the front brakes here. Every time you slow the vehicle down, you are generating a certain amount of energy. In other vehicles, that energy is lost. In this vehicle, it goes to the generator, and to a certain extent it goes back to the batteries, which allows you to gain even more efficiency. I'm going to come around the front. I wanted to show the front of this vehicle. It has a coefficient of drag of about 0.28. That's like a sports car. What that means is it's cutting through the wind at almost peak efficiency. As I mentioned earlier, anything you do that reduces that pushback, that fighting, that resistance will increase your range. So this was designed specifically with the front fascia and the closed grills and the air dam down here to have that low coefficient of drag. When you look inside the Volt, underneath the Volt, you're going to see something just like you would in any other engine. It's got engine oil, it's got a motor, it's got a generator. There are three different kinds of folks that are really interested in the Volts. I call them, the first wave were the true believers. They wanted an electric vehicle. They probably knew more about this vehicle as it was being constructed than just about anybody else, and they purchased it because it's cutting edge technology. They're the first responders to a certain extent. They're going to go out and take one for the team. They really wanted the latest and the greatest. Those folks, God bless them, they really did their homework. But the second group of people that came out were the people where it made sense monetarily. This is a different kind of green. This is money green. To buy a vehicle like this for the savings they were going to get on fuel economy, and for the fact that this is probably the next generation of vehicles coming down the road. They're not as technologically proficient as the first folks that came out. So it had to be a vehicle that they felt comfortable with. And one of the great things about the Volt is you don't get range anxiety. In other words, you don't have to be concerned that once you hit that, on the 2013, that 38-mile range, now all of a sudden you've got yourself a paperweight. They know that that gas motor is going to kick in, and they can still extend out their range. And as they get more comfortable driving this vehicle, they can figure out different ways, finding lower speed limits, for example, to maximize the battery usage, to where on certain circumstances you can go a whole month without having to put any fuel in the vehicle. And then the last group of people are the older folks where they're seeing that this makes more sense, and they are not technologically proficient at all. They just want to know that if they put gas in this vehicle and if they plug it in at night, it's going to work in the morning, and the Volt does that for you. And we're going to explain a little bit inside how you can monitor that. But we're going to come around here, take a look at, again, the available parking assist up front. Along the sides, you have parking assist in the back. There is an available rear view camera that pops up on the center 7-inch screen that helps you as you're backing up, parallel parking, to see what's behind you. The parking sensors front and back obviously are going to signal you if you're approaching something too close. In the rear here, we have the cargo area. The Chevy provides you with a 120 volt plug-in charging unit, which you can plug into any outlet. Most folks park them inside their garage, plug them in there. You can also get a professionally installed 240 volt unit. The 120 volt unit takes about 10 hours or overnight if you've essentially depleted the lithium ion batteries. The 240 would only take 4 hours to do that. The other beauty about this is you can just keep your 120, because a lot of infrastructure is being put into place, both in the cities, at certain Fortune 500 companies, at the Fred Meyer, at the malls, where they're putting 240 volt units in, and you just plug into that one, because the plug-in over here accepts either or. So you have a 120 that you can use at home, but when you get to work, for example, if your company has 240s, you don't have to worry about whether or not that interface will work on this vehicle, because it does. The Volt seats 4 people comfortably, and it's not chintzy. Now, they've done everything they can to make this as user-friendly, if you want to go in that direction, as possible. You have a monitoring system up here that allows you to gauge how much battery life you have left. It also will show you, when you go into regenerative mode, how much battery life you're giving back. All of the information you need as far as the maintenance and the running of the vehicle is found here. 7-inch screen. A second 7-inch screen is available over the center console. That's for entertainment purposes. You can do Bluetooth streaming audio. You still have your traditional MP3 CD player. You can do the internet-based radio jukeboxes. There's so many different options that you can do, whatever your comfort zone is. It also has heated leather seats, and the way the transmission works on the Volt, it's essentially just a drive mode. So you don't have to worry about shifting or anything like that. Again, you have a closed CVT transmission system that provides an infinite range and 100% torque from the get-go. Chevy gives you a 3-year 36 bumper-to-bumper warranty, gives you 8 years, 100,000 miles on the lithium ion, gives you 5 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain, through Sunset Chevrolet. That's actually extended for life as long as you own the vehicle. Chevy also provides 3 years of OnStar assistance. Now, you can get navigation on this vehicle, but with 3 years of OnStar, you can also get turn-by-turn directions downloaded to the vehicle. Whether you want the navigation or whether you prefer just to go with the OnStar, the choice is up to you. All of the features you need, including Bluetooth, are easily accessible from the steering wheel. It's power everything all the way across. As you can see, it's a gorgeous vehicle. What I'd like to do is to invite you out for a test drive. When we come back, we can share the numbers.